Thank you very much, Our Lady Vice Chairman and Chairman of tonight's proceedings, Ms. Camille Robinson-Regis, our political leader, the Right Honorable Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley, Mayor of Point Forte, MP for San Fernando East, MP for Point Forte, my friend retired Brigadier General Dillon, Chairman of the Point Forte constituency and other visiting constituencies. Labre, is Labre in the house? Yeah. All right. A hearty good night. I will spend a few minutes of my time just giving a little bit of background on who I am. And I will tell you why in a few minutes. I am a person, I was born and grew up basically in this area, or the neighboring area, I might say. I was actually born in Darley's Village, Santa Flora. And then I moved to Faizabad. You see, my father at the time joined that company, or joined the TPD company as it was known at the time, as an apprentice at the age of 14. And living in that community in Faizabad, and we know Faizabad and Point Forte, we have always traversed this area together through the fields, through Forest Reserve. So I have been with my father through TPD. I have been with my father through BP. I have been with my father living in that community through Tesoro, through Trintopec, and then I was there when they converted all changes into Petrotrin. I say that to bring to your attention that, you know, what is happening in this part, and coming from South myself, having lived in this community my whole life as growing up. When the decision was taken, or the decision came before Cabinet to support the position of the board of Petrotrin, to make that position as it relates to the refinery, it was something, having grown up in this area, felt in my stomach. That being said, I was there, we looked at the decision that was needed to be made. We looked at all of the numbers and recognized that the line of business as it relates to refinery really could not cut it. We needed as a country to have a profitable Petrotrin. And Petrotrin just couldn't have been profitable with the refinery business still being there. Petrotrin as a company had a lot of large debts coming up, a lot of debts that needed to be serviced. And therefore, it needed a company that was profitable going forward to be able to service those debts. Because at the end of the day, if Petrotrin don't service the debts, it means we all have to service the debt. So I want to say that a lot of things were taken into consideration. All that the namesayers are talking about, the impact on the community, the impact on the country, etc., etc., they were all looked at. And being from South myself and growing up in that area where my father worked his whole life, then I would have it's not something that just would have come easily. But we did the work, we did the research, we hired the professionals, and at the end of the day, we had to do what is right, not for simply the workers of Petrotrin, but we had to do what is right for the country, Trinidad and Tobago. So I wanted to put that clearly on the table. I also wanted to say that, you know, elections are very, very important things. And elections, as a result of elections, there are a lot of consequences. And this election is a very critical election, internal election, for the simple reason, as a lot of the other speakers have spoken about, and as actually our General Secretary mentioned, in the next 4 years, we will be facing close to 3 to 4 elections. And as a political party, which is what we are, the People's National Movement, we have to put our house in order to ensure that we win those elections. But why do we really want to win those elections? And we have to win those elections because we're not winning it just because we want power, and power is a nice thing. We're winning it, and we want to win those elections because we want to continue to do the work that we have been doing to rescue and rebuild Trinidad and Tobago after what it went through over 5 years under the United National Congress. In case we forgot, remember under the United National Congress, we want to stop and we want to ensure that they do not come back now that the NGC is starting to make money and build back up its equity. Remember, that was the government, when they were in power, $16 billion out of the NGC was just removed just like that. We must not forget all the projects that were done, the $63 billion worth of budgets that we had in this country consecutively, and the money was just there, and we have nothing to show for it. I remember in my maiden presentation in the cabinet, when I reflected, not the cabinet, in the parliament, when I reflected on the UNC's term in office, the words that came to me were spend, 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 and thief, thief, thief. And clearly, the reason why we want, and it's important, that we win this election, as I said before, it's not about power. It is because we have a lot of good work to continue to do. We have a lot of good projects in Labre to finish. We have stabilized the economy, and it's not me that is saying that. We got an economy that was in trouble and shambles. And as you saw, coming out of the recent IMF statement on their review, international individuals coming down from Washington and sending it out to the world what they could do with Trinidad and Tobago, or what is the prospects for Trinidad and Tobago. And those reports are read internationally. So there's nobody making up anything. And they talked about the fact, they acknowledge that what we are doing, we are on the right track. They acknowledge that the decisions that were taken were the right decisions. And they also acknowledge that at the end of the day, the economy is on a growth path going forward. So we have been doing the right thing. And therefore, we have to ensure, we, the members of the PNM, have to ensure that we put an executive together in the PNM so that this executive could lead us into victory in all 3 of the elections going forward. I think at that point in time, you need a round of applause. So I am extremely proud to be part of this team. I'm extremely proud because this team talks about real people. And I like the fact that one of the words that we use to talk about the Red and Rowley team is that it's real. Because authenticity is a very critical thing to me. Being part of a team that is authentic, being part of a team that has an authentic leader is a critical part of leadership. I like a person that, as you heard, whatever you see is what you get. Whatever he says and whatever he leads with is with passion. This team is made up of individuals, not of people who say that they're PNM today. But when you look at their actions, it is not authentic. Because you cannot be a real PNM and walking around, but you cannot attend any one of the functions and you can't be seen over the last 5 to 6 years. That is not being real. You cannot be a real PNM when at the end of the day we can't hear from you and you in the meantime telling people not to vote for the PNM. That is not real. That is not what we know as being a PNM. And therefore, we have put forward a team of candidates that are all real. These are the people that when you look left, when you look right, between thick and thin, in good times and in bad, at the times when we were in opposition, and now that we are in government, you saw this group of people. You saw them there working with you to get us to this position. And this is the group of people that you need for us to have in power and have in place so that as we go forward, we could continue the good work that we have been doing. So I ask you all to support, one, myself, Robert Hunte as Vice Chairman. As I said before, the hunt is over. I have worked in this party in the north. I have worked in this party in the south. I have worked for this party in the east. I've worked for this party in the west. And I've worked for this party in Tobago. I have been here since 1986. And I have a tremendous amount of experience within the party, which is one quality you need as vice chairman. As a vice chairman, you also need somebody with some management skills and who could run an organization and lead a team. And I tell you, based on my corporate experience, having been the managing director of a bank, I have that skill. I have that skill. So I ask you for your support for me as vice chairman. But I also ask you to support all members of this team, because it is critical that we have a team going into the next election, and you must vote for all the members of this team because they are real, because they have experience, and because they are dependable. And that is what we need. I thank you very much for your support. And I want to again thank Dr. Rowley for putting me and making me part of this team. Thank you very much.